Guys, let me tell you something. You see this particular video? Woohoo! I like it. And the reason why I like it, that is coming from this woman, this Gloria Elendu. Yeah, Elendu. That's an Igbo. Sounds Igbo. Elendu. Sounds Igbo. So, I recently discovered this lady. I used to see her videos before now, but I never paid slow down to listen to one until last week. I finally listened to one of her videos and I said, oh, this woman has a lot of wisdom to share. And I saw this video, so this is so apt. 5 things to look out for in a man who will make a great intimate partner. So you don't have to sleep with them before you know this. In other words,
if I don't taste him,
if these things are in place, you're good to go as a Christian girl. So you don't have to mekwa before you know. So because if you start tasting everything, I mean, are you going to taste? These are things look out for. I love it. So let's take a listen.
Gloria, how do I know a man is going to be good in bed if I don't taste him? How can I know? So this video is for you. Now, this video will come in multiple parts, but it all depends on you. If you tell me to do a part 2, I will try to do a part 2. But I've gotten many comments and DMs that are really just about asking, how do you know for sure that the partner you're going to end up with will be someone who would be a good intimate partner? So this video is to give you perspective. In my opinion, of course. The first thing that you should look out for as a young Christian woman who is looking for a partner that will likely be a good one to give you the best kind of experience in the bedroom. Number one thing to look out for is hygiene. Hygiene is an important factor. Many people do not talk about this, even in your marriage counseling classes, in church, but hygiene is important. A man's hygiene determines if sex will be pleasurable for you or not, because smell or odor is a huge turn on or turn off. If a man has bad oral care, you would find it very difficult to even kiss him in the morning, at night, or anytime. He's going to repel you. You'll be disgusted. So hygiene is important. So when you are seeing that brother that is coming to you, that brother that is saying, oh, sister, I like you, check his oral hygiene. Check his breath. Does he have a bad breath? Does he have halitosis? Check his teeth. These things are things that could, make the experience a bad or a good one. Because one thing about the bedroom is that it is an opportunity where you are seeing something very closely. So if you know that you are the type that odor repels you, hygiene should be number 1 on your list. So when you see that brother is always praying and sweating, check his armpit area. Does he emit an odor? Yes, does he emit an odor? Find out. Hygiene is important in the bedroom. If anybody is, carrying an offensive odor, it can make the whole experience a very bad one. And it does not matter the size of the penis or the look of the vagina or the breast. Nothing matters if the odor isn't right. Even if he brings out his weapon of mass destruction, if the whole area is not neat or clean, it can just make the whole thing a very please. So it doesn't matter the size he's carrying. If his hygiene is not good, the sexual experience is likely to be bad. And many times why women in marriages run away from sex and all of those things is also because some of these men do not take their hygiene seriously. Always repeating their boxers, always having, so the whole thing is just, oh, please stay on your own. So a good way.
And I also come to realize when it comes to body hygiene, the women tend to take care of their body more than the men. Why is that the case? Is it because the mothers often focus, I'm speaking as an African girl, is it because the mothers often focus on the child, is this how you'll be treating yourself? You don't forget that you get married. You are a woman, take care of yourself. Is this what you be doing in your husband's house? Is that the reason? Because you don't hear mothers talk to the sons. The fathers are even worse. They don't even talk to their sons. Everything left for the mothers.
To find out if a man would be a good sexual partner is to check his hygiene. Is he clean? He must have a level of cleanliness so that he doesn't see hygiene as a burden. There are some men who see it as a burden. My wife is forcing me to bathe at night. My wife is forcing me to wash my boxers. Things no. So look and find out if he's a man that takes his cleanliness seriously. This also applies to women as well, because again, odor is a very, very important aspect of the sexual experience. Smells and things will be puffing up in the air. You want to make sure that all of that is, breathable. If not, that's a bad one. The second thing you want to also find out is, does he take feedback well? And you can find this out by just asking him questions generally or making suggestions about his appearances. You know, how does he take feedback? If you say, oh, your haircut is trimmed this way, but I think maybe this kind of cut fits you better. What do you think? How does he react? Is he already very defensive about it? Like, oh, I like my haircut this way. I like this way. If you don't like it, find out. Or is it someone that takes feedback like, you know what? I like my haircut this way, but since you mentioned it, do you think this will fit me? I'm not really sure. I can always try. You must find somebody who is not very defensive when it comes to feedback, because one thing about sex is that there is a lot of feedback in that process. And if you are in a relationship or you are in a marriage where feedback is seen as a weapon of vexation or malice, immediately you say, do like this, they carry face for you. Not a very terrible experience. So does he take feedback well? And this also goes for you as well. You know, do you take feedback well and things like that? Because as much as possible, it is an experience that you really want to make sure that the person who is engaging in it is enjoying it. So if he's a man, you want to find out, does he take feedback well? If I say, I don't like this thing like this, is he going to fight me? Is he going to quarrel me? Is he going to punish me for it? Is he going to keep malice? Is he going to be vexing? Will he carry his face for 3 months? These are things you can know whether your experience in that aspect would make sense or not. Now let's move to the third thing. The third thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to whether or not a man is likely to be a very good intimate partner is you in general. Does he think you're intelligent? If a man doesn't think you're intelligent, it affects the bedroom. And I know you'll be asking, what do you mean? So does intelligence affect anything? A man who thinks that you do not know anything will be someone that will find it very difficult to listen to you. And if a man thinks that you are not intelligent, he automatically thinks that your needs and everything else for you or about you is less, it's not a priority. So when you are engaging a man, you need to size him up. If he thinks that you have something in your brain, if he thinks you are smart, or if he thinks you're intelligent, if he thinks you are not that intelligent, or he feels like somehow he's 100%, always right in all things, it also affects the experience in the bedroom. Because if you say, babe, I don't think this is right, he will tell you, what do you know? What do you know? Do you understand? So I've talked about hygiene, I've talked about feedback, I've talked about his assessment on your intelligence. If a man is married to a smart woman or an intelligent woman or a woman who he thinks is intelligent, he takes her words very seriously, right? So if a man thinks you are not smart, I don't think that's a man you want to even be married to, okay? So that's the side. Now let's move to the fourth thing. The fourth thing that you should want to consider if you want to know if a man will be a good intimate partner is how he reacts to you in pain. That's a good one. How he reacts to you in pain. Does he laugh when you are in pain? If something hurts you, does he laugh? Is it a joke? Is it funny? That's a good way to know how a man is going to react in the bedroom. So let me give you an example. So let us say you guys are doing something and maybe he pushes you or you fall, you hit your leg, you are actually in pain. Does he see that as something like funny or exciting? Because if you are married to someone who sees pain as something exciting, it means that the sexual experience would be a bad place for you to be in. Because when you are in pain or when you are complaining of pain, it excites him. And there are some men like that. There are some men that are excited from pain. They are excited from your tears. When you are crying and you're saying, no, I don't want this, that is when they get even more aroused and more aggressive. So you can find that out before the bedroom. Is this someone that is so excited about, you being in pain or you being uncomfortable? The way he holds your hand and you're like, oh, my hand hurts, stop holding my... He's like, check. Because it means that if he holds you down, and you are trying to tap out and you're saying no. In fact, that is when he is even more aroused to continue and finish, because that pain that you're experiencing excites him. And what that means is that you would hate the sexual experience for what it is. So this is number 4. Now let's go to number 5. 5 is self-control. You see, the sexual experience is something that is built on self-control. A person who doesn't have self-control will be a very bad intimate partner. Okay, somebody who is always you're like, no, I don't. And the reason why self-control is important is because for women, I think considering our monthly cycle, the way it is, our luteal phases, ovulation phases, and things like that, our energy levels are always fluctuating. That is the woman experience, right? Because we have that cycle that goes from ovulation to menstruation and things like that. So it affects the cycle, unlike men who do not have a monthly cycle. So the energy levels are relatively the same, except for maybe external stress. While for women, our energy levels fluctuate because of internal stresses, hormones and things like that. So your levels will always be fluctuating. What that means is that at different times of the month, your energy, your libido would be very different. There are some times where you would be into it, and there's some times where you'll be like, nah, I'm not feeling it. So if you have a partner who has self-control, it helps the whole experience. Because like I said, intercourse for a woman is a nervous system issue. Women want to feel safe in the whole experience. We don't want to feel rushed. We don't want to feel, because once you start feeling, I have to, it messes the whole thing up. So a person who has self-control is a person that you can work with. Now, all of these things I've mentioned, of course, they are not absolute, but I can tell you for a fact that if you measure the men that you have met and you are talking to, and if you measure them on these 5 things that I've mentioned, and you know they are on the very high scale of it, I can put it to you that you have a better experience in the bedroom. Let me know if
This is amazing. Let's even see what the people in the comments are saying. Oh my god, this is nice. Someone say you're a pocket of wisdom. Please consider having a YouTube channel and uploading this there. Wow. Someone say, am I a woman? No. Do I find this video helpful? Yes, I want to be tagged in the part 2. As of course, as a man, you should be learning from it now. Present yourself like this. This is actually nice. This is why they say we need to go for knowledge, and when you find it, hold it tight. So you don't need to be testing it to see if it will work. If they have all these attributes, best believe that you have a high chance. That smell, see that number 1 smell. I think even sitting with somebody that smells closely is even offensive. Talk more when you now have to engage sexually with the person. So you can imagine it. That of course you are guaranteed not to have a good experience. This video for me is a learning one, so I don't have much to share because I had to learn too from it. I'm a single girl, so yes, there's a lot for me to learn. In fact, let's go and look for the part 2, guys. I'll see you in part 2. Like and subscribe.